I'm here to provide you some brief information about some issues that we're dealing with in my portfolios. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the library project, a little bit of AFNQL meetings that were happening in the last couple of days, but more importantly, taxation issues. So just very briefly, the library project is moving along. We had a meeting last week looking at the floor plan that was provided by the architect. There were some comments and opinions provided by the library as far as their preferences are concerned. And the meetings moving forward are going to be directly with the architect, so that way they get information firsthand and it's a good back and forth. AFNQL meetings over the last 3 days, they were primarily focused on meeting with some of the various party leaders of the Quebec political parties. They had a lot of different comments, asked a lot of different questions. Primarily, I think the issue that's coming out of there is most of them are in support of this Quebec Constitution that's being floated around right now. It doesn't look like it's going to make it through their National Assembly. I think they're only at work for another couple of weeks. But the more concerning thing is that most of the parties are in favor of it in one way or another, in one form or another. And it's something that internally we need to start talking about to see what our approach is going to be on that one. So keep an eye out for that. On a more important issue is the taxation. So we've become aware that there's certain taxation issues affecting people in Kahnawà. Not only is it cross-border taxation through the IRS, but it's also some issues that are now emerging from the bank in regard to the money you make on your accounts, interest. And then it's also affecting other things like pensions and family allowance, things of that nature. So what we're planning on doing is having a kiosk next week on June 4th, and it's going to be at the bank building. So we'll have more information on that, specifically with regard to cross-border taxation, which is fairly important because we have people that still work in the States and some of us that did work in the past. What happened is under Harper, he had an agreement with the U.S. whereby the U.S., who taxes their citizens anywhere around the world, now have an agreement whereby as soon as you file in Canada, they alert the U.S. And then the U.S. makes every attempt to tax you. So we have information on that for people. The kiosk is going to be next Thursday at the bank in the lobby from 12 until 4. And then as a follow-up to that, for people that are still working out of town, we're looking at the possibility of having maybe a Saturday meeting, maybe a half a day on a Saturday for people that want to come and get more information on that. So that's in relation to the U.S. So it's a Foreign Tax Compliance Act, which is known as FATCA. And that's where the agreement was between IRS and CRA to have those, to have the ability to tax people across the border. So we'll have information on how that potentially that could be addressed. So through the bank right now, some of the issues that's arising is because they're using AI in order to send out their like interest charges and whatever in regard to taxation. But there is no allowance for on reserve, where we're not taxable on reserve. And that was a judgment from a case, Dubé versus Canada. That was in 2010, and the judge, his opinion was that the income earned on reserve by status native will be considered tax-exempt income. So the problem with that is the CRA took a very narrow interpretation of it in favor of them, not in favor of us. So that's something else that we're looking at, and we'll have additional information for that. In the meantime, you can always get a hold of myself here at Council or Tricia Collier over at Client-Based Services, which is in the same offices as membership in the bank building. So she has a lot of information on this. She will be at the kiosk next Thursday to provide information. She has a lot of the background here and a lot of the information, so she knows more than I do. I'm no expert by any way, shape, or form. That's pretty much all I have right now. I'll have more for you next time on other issues and perhaps another update on this one. So again, next Thursday, 12 to 4 at the bank building. It's all about taxation. Come out and see us, and we'll look for a follow-up to that, a meeting on a Saturday for the people that are still working in the States or out of town who are interested in this. Yawa.